Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport today. And by CCAN Action Fund's electric vehicle raffle for the planet. Buy your ticket today to support their mission to fight for a cleaner air and a healthier environment and get 3 chances to win a brand new EV with every ticket. And by Energy Sage. Plan your own energy independence and insulate yourself from rising energy costs. And by you. Stick around to find out how to keep us 100% independent. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. I hope you are safe, well, and with someone you care about who also cares for you. We start today's show with news from Slate Auto, which confirmed launch pricing for its bare-bones EV. Backed by Jeff Bezos, the startup plans to start deliveries later this year, with the entry-level 2-seat pickup starting from $24,950 before mandatory shipping and handling fees. It comes with manual windows, no infotainment, a perfunctory interior, and a 65 kilowatt-hour LFP battery, offering up to 205 miles, 330 kilometers of EPA estimated range from its 135 kilowatt rear-wheel drivetrain. Colours come via wrap rather than paint, with stereo, infotainment, lighting and roof racks all costing extra. A square-backed SUV variant starts at just under $30,000 US, with a fastback SUV just under $32,000 US. We love the no-frills attitude, but unless you're content with manual everything, the pricing isn't super competitive once you start adding things on top. We're off to Europe now with the launch of Renault's second-generation Megane E-Tech Electric. Coming just 4 years after the original Megane E-Tech Electric launched, we'd normally call this a mid-cycle refresh, but this time the tweaks are a little more intense than a few nips and tucks. For a start, the car is about 20mm taller, 0.7 inches, and no, I'm not giving you that in fractions, to accommodate a larger LFP battery pack. Rated to 67 kilowatt-hours usable, it provides up to 500 kilometers, 310 miles of WLTP range, and can charge at up to 165 kilowatts at a compatible DC fast charging station, significantly better than previously offered. Bidirectional charging is now standard at 11 kilowatts, with up to 22 kilowatts AC 3-phase offered as an optional extra. There's also a new infotainment system, more connected car services, and a face scanner to automatically recognise drivers for automatic profile recall. Also in Europe, Škoda unveiled its newest EV this week in the form of the Škoda Peaq. A new flagship model for the brand, it boasts seating for up to 7, plus a range per charge of over 640 kilometres, 397 miles on the WLTP test cycle, when paired with the largest 91 kilowatt-hour battery pack. A smaller 63 kilowatt-hour battery pack is offered, as well as 3 different powertrain choices encompassing rear and all-wheel drive options. A heat pump is standard, as is bidirectional charging, 1-pedal driving, and a 37-litre, that's 1.3 cubic feet, frunk. It's also Škoda's first full-size electric SUV, and as a flagship model comes with plenty of gadgets and doodads, including a Sonos premium sound system, LED matrix headlights, and optional Travel Assist 3.0 semi-autonomous technology. It will launch from just under €50,000, with deliveries starting in September. The ACEA published new figures this week from European EV sales, showing that in May 2026, year-to-date, new car registrations in the EU increased by 4%. Of those new vehicles sold, EVs accounted for 20% of the market, up 15.3% year-over-year on the same period. For the first 5 months of the year, just over 950,500 new EVs were registered, with Italy, France and Germany enjoying the largest market growth. Plug-in hybrids grew in popularity too, with 460,217 units sold year-to-date. Meanwhile, the ICCT also published data for Europe, showing more than 6,355 new heavy-duty electric vehicles were registered in the EU in Q1. Notably, 55% of all new city buses were electric, while 2.3% of all heavy truck sales and 20% of all medium-duty trucks and vans were electric in the period. Mercedes-Benz and MAN Truck and Bus dominated first and second place in the electric sales charts for the combined market. The US National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has launched an official investigation after a Tesla Model 3 crashed in speed into a brick home in Texas on June 20th, killing the 76-year-old occupant. The driver showed no signs of impairment and claimed the vehicle was operating in full self-driving mode. Tesla confirmed FSD was engaged, but blamed the driver for depressing the accelerator to the floor, causing the car to reach 73 miles per hour before impact. While full data isn't available yet, the most likely explanation, as other outlets have noted, is that the driver panicked and hit the accelerator instead of the brake in response to something the car did. That doesn't clear either party of blame, however. Level 2 systems require full driver supervision and decisive intervention. But it does highlight the desperate need for better fail-safes and regulation around semi-autonomous systems. Our sympathies are with the family, who have already filed a civil case against Tesla in court. While the Stellantis Group's US brands have very much pulled back their EV goals this year, the Jeep brand officially launched the Jeep Recon EV last week. The model, available to order now from $66,995, is meant to be a fully capable off-road vehicle with the usual Jeep features like removable doors and windows, as the rest of Jeep's off-road family lineup already have. But with 9.1 inches of ground clearance, it's certainly not the most off-road capable EV out there on paper. It promises around 475 kilowatts of power from its all-wheel drivetrain and a 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack that gets an EPA-approved 222 miles, 357 kilometers of range per charge. Notably, unlike most EVs, which trend towards a higher EPA rating than initially promised, the Jeep Recon EV's EPA rating is less than originally promised. Jeep is calling this the first and only fully electric trail-rated SUV, but I bet a Rivian R1S would actually be more capable. Deliveries start by year's end. After announcing it in April, Audi has launched its refreshed Q4 e-tron with a slew of upgrades that make the car a lot more appealing in an increasingly competitive marketplace. On the outside, the tweaks are modest, with new body-coloured grille and customisable LED exterior lighting, allowing customers to choose their preferred signature daytime running lights. Inside, there's been a full refresh, with a twin-display driver dash and a passenger-facing touchscreen. There are two new battery pack choices, 63 kWh and 82 kWh, and dramatic improvements to the drivetrain efficiency thanks to new motor choices. The range gets a V to L and V to H for the first time, and fast charging is improved to 185 kilowatts peak at a compatible charging station. Early reviews are rolling in now, and deliveries are starting to roll out across Europe, with pricing from €49,460 for the Sportback and €47,500 for SUV variants. As prices soar around the world, driven by the knock-on effects of the war in Iran and AI data centres gobbling up resources, everything from groceries to computers are getting more expensive. But this week, Subaru confirmed it won't be raising prices on its Solterra EV for the new model year, with US customers paying the same as they did in 2026. We've just had the Solterra XT on review, and without preempting my opinion, it's a notable improvement on the previous model year, with more power, faster charging, and a more engaging driving experience. Dealers are now accepting orders starting from $38,495 for the entry-level Solterra Premium, up to $45,855 for the Solterra Touring XT. Make sure you're subscribed to catch the review when it drops in about a week or so. If you've watched for the last few months of this show, you'll know I've become increasingly exasperated by the US government's ongoing attempts to halt wind farm development. We've seen the White House offer refunds to energy companies in exchange for abandoning offshore wind leases, and the US military drafted in to throw up roadblocks in the planning process for new wind farm developments. But now the state of California is threatening to sue the Department of the Interior over a $120 million payout to Golden State Wind, made in exchange for ceasing offshore wind projects off the West Coast and investing instead in fossil fuel programs. California says the payout violates the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act, and the federal government has 60 days to reverse course or face a lawsuit. Watch this space. And finally, some more bad and Frustrating news from the US. This week, Polestar announced it has been banned from selling new cars in America from model year 2027. Not a direct-to-customer ban, but a full ban on new Polestar EVs being sold in the US after the US government deemed the brand a national security risk under its connected vehicle rules. Those rules were initially introduced during President Biden's term, but more recently have become an excuse for the Trump administration to ban companies it doesn't like. The reason? Polestar is owned by Geely and its telematics uses Chinese-made components, despite some of its vehicles being built in the US at the very same South Carolina factory as certain Volvo models using exactly the same components. Volvo, notably, received an exemption in May from the rules. Polestar, although it's also applied for one, did not. And Waymo, which uses a Geely-owned Zeekr as the basis for its latest robotaxi, has seemingly sidestepped the issue entirely, supposedly because it imports gliders and then fills them with its own tech. So much for free markets. It's now whoever gets the favour of the king. The message is simple. If you want to sell in the US, you'd best open your checkbook. Our recall reminders are next, but first, for several weeks now, I've been telling you about the amazing EV raffle organised by our non-profit friends at the CAN Action Fund. And not only is it an opportunity to get 3 chances to win a brand new electric vehicle with every ticket, it's a great opportunity to support a non-profit working to hold major fossil fuel polluters accountable for the climate crisis. We are now more than halfway through the raffle period, and there are still thousands of tickets left unsold. And just as I hinted, each ticket gets you not 1, not 2, but 3 chances to win a really great selection of some of the best EVs on the market today. The maths is pretty simple. With fewer people buying tickets, your individual chances of winning are increased, especially with 3 potential chances to win per ticket. The first prize winner will build their own luxury Rivian, Lucid or Porsche EV of up to $115,000 in value. Second prize will choose between the Rivian R2, Volkswagen ID Buzz or Hyundai Ioniq, and third place winners will win a Chevrolet Bolt. Tickets are just $200 each, and every dollar supports the CAN Action Fund's work to shift the rising cost of climate-related disasters, like increased intensity of floods and wildfires, away from everyday people like you and I and onto the largest, dirtiest energy polluters out there. And given some of the stories we've covered this week, I think you'll agree we need amazing non-profits like the CAN Action Fund. There are still plenty of tickets left, but time is running out, so grab your tickets and support this amazing non-profit. Head over to www.evraffle.org, that's evraffle.org, or find the link in our show notes, or point your smart device at the on-screen QR code right here. Good luck. And now it's time for our recall reminders. Toyota, Lexus and Subaru are recalling certain BZ, RZ and Solterra models over a potential fault with their ECU unit that can cause a loss of drive power. A battery ECU update fixes the issue. Denago EV is recalling more than 34,000 of its neighbourhood electric vehicles due to a faulty pedestrian warning system. A new remedy kit will be fitted free of charge. Daimler Trucks has recalled 2 of its Thomas-built Safety Liner HDX2 electric school buses to address a fault with front and mid-body interior joints that could cause a structural failure. Operators will be notified. And those were your recall reminders. Now it's time for our news shorts. As usual, you'll find full links on our website at transportevolved.com. A research team in China has developed a new PVDF-based gel composite electrolyte that improves conductivity and lifespan for solid-state batteries, with their research paper published in March but only just publicly announced. Parcel company DHL has signed a deal with shipping specialist VELA to use modern wind-powered trimarans to transport up to 600 EU pallets per voyage. Lightship has unveiled the Power Sled, a commercial trailer built on the same AE1 RV chassis, available for custom upfitting with up to 240 kilowatt-hours of onboard battery storage. Dacia has announced that its second-generation Spring EV is coming to market later this year. It hasn't confirmed specs, but we can expect modest upgrades on its predecessor. Just a few weeks after it unveiled its Luce EV, Ferrari has replaced its chief marketing and commercial officer. The vehicle, which drew strong criticism, caused a massive drop in the value of Ferrari's stock. GM is working on a new platform for its next-generation EVs called BEV-N. It will underpin the next-generation Equinox EV and Blazer EV, due sometime around 2028. Renault, working alongside Solterra EV, have unveiled the Clev Insights, a vehicle built to collect and analyse data from the world around it in real time. It's based on the Twingo EV. Jaipur's public transit network in India has welcomed 29 new electric buses to its fleet. Made possible by India's e-bus Sewa scheme, more electric buses are expected soon. In an interview with Autocar this week, Ford CEO Jim Farley hinted that Ford could consider bringing EVs to Europe that are developed at the US Skunk Works, but didn't give specifics. DP World has launched a new phase of its e-Vita trial that will allow UK haulage companies the chance to rent and test electric HGVs over 3-month periods. It's based in Southampton. CATL, in partnership with Octopus, is about to launch a new joint venture called Swaptocus in Europe that will establish battery swapping hubs for heavy-duty trucks. Chevrolet has celebrated starting the production of the new 2026 Captiva EV in Brazil. Made in Brazil for the Brazilian market, it will be produced alongside the Spark EUV. Smart has unveiled its new interior design concept and shared more details for its concept number 2. It features a 35.7 kWh LFP battery pack and a claimed 300-kilometre range. Alpitronic has launched a new variant of its HYC 1000 system to offer up to 1000 kilowatts of power transfer while charging. Previously, the charging units had only supported 600 kilowatts maximum DC fast charge rates. Stellantis has confirmed that while most of its platforms are drivetrain agnostic, its new e-car project, a small car family that includes the upcoming Citroën 2 Cheveux, will be EV only. ChargePoint is ending app and RFID access for private customers at its European stations on June 30th. Beyond that point, private customers will need to use contactless payment or third-party roaming to charge. After years of only producing mid-drive units for e-bikes, Bosch has launched its first e-bike hub motor. It's launched in tandem with a new slim battery pack designed to blend in with the bike's frame. BMW's Leipzig production facility is about to undergo a 5.5-week upgrade program designed to prepare it to produce Neue Klasse EVs in the near future. Leighton has offered a total of €60 million to the administrators of Swedish battery specialist Northvolt to buy its former battery production facility in Germany. If successful, it will represent a significant savings of building its own factory. Colombia's Ministry of Transport, along with CalStart, have announced Route E, a zero-emission freight corridor that will be the nation's first, spanning 1,195 kilometres. Hina and FAW have completed an extensive 7-month, 15,000-kilometre test programme of new sodium-ion battery packs for electric trucks. Even at negative 40 degrees Celsius, the batteries performed exceptionally. The EU's Meta Sikaze programme has launched what it says is Finland's first fully driverless autonomous bus service operating as part of the regular public transport network in the city of Tampere. A new EV incentive programme will launch in Spain next week. It will be retroactively applicable to EVs purchased from the start of the year, with up to €4,500 available per vehicle. Solaris Bus has expanded its production capacity in Poland with a new assembly hall, adding 500 vehicles per year to its output as it targets annual production of 2,000 buses. The government of South Korea is considering switching existing hydrogen subsidies towards EVs, after the EV subsidy programme is due to run out, but hydrogen funds remain. Volkswagen's software division, CARIAD, has opened a new automotive software campus in Berlin. It will be used to advance the brand's AI capabilities. After the launch of the Rivian R2, Rivian has officially ended production of its previous entry-level R1T and R1S. Now only large and max battery pack options are available. Ionity has confirmed it will be increasing its prices across Europe. Depending on the country, expect charging price changes to vary, but overall, average price increases sit at 4%. CATL's new battery facility in Debrecen, Hungary, is taking longer to build than originally planned, so for now, Mercedes-Benz is sourcing some of its batteries from China. Volkswagen's energy subsidiary Eli has announced a new bidirectional charging package for Volkswagen Group customers in Germany, allowing customers the ability to sell energy stored in their EV battery packs back to the grid. Nissan and Valeo have signed a contract to bring V2G bidirectional charging stations to Europe, starting in the UK, allowing Nissan EV owners the option to feed energy back to the grid. NIO has opened a new research and development centre in Oxford, UK. It includes a new computer-aided engineering workspace and vehicle laboratory. Australian logistics firm Linfox has launched a new electric fleet, made possible with assistance from the Australian government. It features 26 new heavy-duty electric trucks. Stuttgart, Germany, has welcomed 4 new electric refuse trucks to its fleet as part of an ongoing programme to transition the service to electric drive. More trucks will follow. Bangladesh has announced a new EV incentive program designed to offer EV owners more reasons to go electric by cutting import taxes on EVs. It will help boost the appeal of Chinese-made EVs like BYD. As Nissan continues to struggle financially, new reporting this week suggests that the brand has shelved all plans to build an electric Nissan Qashqai. Rumours suggest production facilities may also soon be sold off. New South Wales, Australia, has announced a new electric bus incentive programme worth $6.5 billion Australian dollars. It's designed to help state bus operators switch to electric. Also, in the Southern Hemisphere, Xiaomi has secured up to $400 million in funding to help expand zero-emission bus programs across Australia and Aotearoa, New Zealand. China's Zijin Mining Group has built its own fleet of nearly 300 all-electric mining dump trucks with swappable 776 kilowatt-hour battery packs after finding no suitable vehicles on the market, with battery swaps taking just 4 minutes. The Honda Super N is now officially on sale in the UK with a starting price of £18,995 sterling on the road. It offers up to 70 kilowatts of power at the wheels and City Turbo 2-like styling. Lucid has laid off more than 18% of its staff in the US as part of its restructuring. This includes our press contact at the firm, so it could affect our press car access. A collective claim against Tesla over its Hardware 3 vehicles is now more than 7,000 claimants strong. Claimants are angry their cars require a paid upgrade for FSD operation. Mitsubishi has just launched a new forbidden fruit for those of us who live outside of Japan but love small cars. The Mitsubishi EK Cross is compact, cute and packed with features for less than 1.8 million yen. While sales are low, Maserati has boosted the range of its Folgore EV for 2026 with up to 85 kilometres of extra range over previous model years on the WLTP test cycle. Pattern Energy and Hitachi Energy have announced the SunZia transmission line in New Mexico is now fully operational, a 550-mile HVDC line capable of delivering up to 3 gigawatts of wind power from New Mexico to the grid in Arizona. Royal Enfield has officially started deliveries of its Flying Flea electric motorcycle to customers in India. It's priced from 2.7 lakh rupee. Ford Racing and Romain Dumas are celebrating after becoming king of the mountain at this year's Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. The Super Mustang Mach-E EV demonstrator set a time of 8 minutes, 18.202 seconds. Demand for Kia's PV5 electric van is proving so popular, and Kate Morton-Elliott sent me a picture of one while on some travels this week, that it's now being rationed outside of its home market of South Korea. Basically, Kia can't keep up with demand. And finally for the shorts, Hyundai has confirmed it's working on some more realistic shifting dynamics and engine noise for its N-badged EVs. Because why have smooth, torque-filled power delivery when you can fake a laggy gearbox? And those are your news shorts. There will be more next week. Our final 2 stories are coming in a moment, but first a word on how we do what we do. Transport Evolved has been around for 15 years, and we've always believed that good information should be free, not paywalled, not driven by advertorials, and not beholden to anyone with a checkbook. That hasn't changed, but what has changed is the financial landscape around us. YouTube ad revenue no longer covers our costs, and like a lot of indie creators, we're feeling the squeeze. At the start of June, that squeeze got a little tighter as my partner Kate was laid off as part of a corporate restructuring. And as a small team where every dollar counts, that has a very real impact on what we're able to do here. Kate's income paid our household bills, and with that gone, I need to start pulling a salary from TE, but we can't do that without a substantial increase in income. I hope, if you're able, you'll consider helping us on that path from $1.50 a month, making a one-off donation, or by visiting our swag store. Or perhaps, if you're in the US, you'll consider using one of our long-time channel sponsors, Energy Sage. They are a great way to get trustworthy, verified solar experts helping you navigate the often complex process of getting solar panels for your home. I personally use them for my own home, so I can vouch for their awesomeness. And if you choose them, whether for a solar panel, a heat pump, or just to join a local community solar program, which, by the way, is perfect for renters, will also receive a small referral fee. Supporting us would really mean a lot, and you could also be weaning yourself off big energy bills at the same time. So, however you do it, thanks for your continued support. And now, it's time for our final two stories. How far can you go on 4 kilowatt hours of electricity? Most people don't know, and as EVs have gotten heavier, the answer is increasingly disappointing. But this week, Aptera published real-world solar generation data from its validation vehicles, showing that at its target efficiency of 100 watt-hours per mile, its three-wheeler can generate between 3.6 and 4.6 kilowatt-hours per day from its solar panels alone, translating to between 36 and 46 miles of additional range. That said, Aptera did reposition the vehicle to track the sun throughout the day, which helped maximise output. But as it points out, most people naturally move their cars several times a day anyway. For most commuters, that's enough to never plug in. It also throws into sharp relief just how inefficient other EVs are. My Ford F-150 Lightning averages about 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour if I drive it really carefully. That's roughly 11 miles on 4 kilowatt hours versus up to 46. The Aptera wins hands down. I just hope they make it to market. And finally, Xiaomi has made massive waves in the auto industry since it launched its first EV in 2024, setting numerous records on the Nurburgring Nordschleife along the way. This week, it added a new one, with a difference. It sent a fully autonomous YU7 GT around the Green Hell in 10 minutes, 29.483 seconds, setting a new record for an autonomous electric vehicle. Until that attempt, the category didn't even exist, so Xiaomi has no competition right now for the crown, but it's still a pretty impressive feat. It's not clear exactly how much prep work went into the attempt before that in terms of track mapping, but to put it in context, the time is roughly what you'd expect a competent first-timer in a standard road car on a tourist lap to achieve, but still slower than the late great Sabine Schmidt in a Ford Transit. Make of that what you will. And on that note, we are done for today's show. But first, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring us. The EVA has been around since 1967 and is firmly committed to a cleaner, greener future for everyone. Join the EVA today, become an EV educator, and find ways to accelerate your own transition to electric. If you haven't made the switch yet, head over to myeva.org for more info. And thanks go to CAN Action Fund. Tickets are just $200, only 10,000 are being sold, and each ticket gets you 3 chances to win a brand new EV. So don't hang about. Grab your ticket today at evraffle.org. And thanks as well go to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to start planning your own energy-independent future today. And of course, thank you. If you're able, please consider supporting us using one of the methods I mentioned earlier in the show. Supporting us can also mean sharing our content, joining our Fluxer or Discord communities, promoting us on social media, or using our affiliate links, all of which are listed below. And if you are new to the channel, hi! Please give us a sub, either on YouTube or on PeerTube. Finally, you matter. You're important. And while you might always feel it, your voice and actions are. I know it's hard in a world filled with hate to feel like you have a place, but I want you to know that you do. The fact you're here, watching this, means a lot to both myself and the rest of the team. And we are so very grateful that you are here and that you are you. I know the world is scary right now. The news headlines are almost too much to bear at times, but remember, even the strongest people need time to reset, so do not be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to speak your truth, take your time, listen to your own heart, and progress the world towards a better future. And that world that we can build together is much stronger when we all have a voice, when we all listen, and when everyone is welcome. A cleaner, greener, safer, smarter, and more equitable world must be one rooted in justice, fairness, and a shared goal. So until next time, This show is taking a week off for July 4th, so it will be 2 weeks' time. Be your authentic self, whoever you are, wherever you are, and whoever you love. You are all part of this amazing, wonderful journey that we are on together. As always, keep evolving.